Woo! Everybody, we're back with another review for The Last of Us HBO. And in this one, we'll be going over Episode 2. So if y'all do like, please leave one and enjoy. And with that said, no intro, no outro, nothing to get in the way of this, because we're about to get into Episode 2 of The Last of Us on HBO. Tell me, have you seen it? Are you enjoying the adaptation down below? I am really personally thinking that this is the best video game to TV or video game to movie adaptation, like, of all time. I can't think of any others, really. Like, you have Sonic, but that's not like a video game, like, straight to movie, you know? Like, it's a video game character, but, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, The Last of Us focuses on the main story of the game, so I call that more of a video game to TV series medium, or media. But, yeah, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. And, man, this one started off, right where we left off last episode, and that was, the whole reveal that they have to transport Ellie to the, we all know where if you played the game, but to the hospital in, Washington. And, this episode really reminded me of the game. Ellie, Bella Ramsey just proves why she was a great choice as Ellie. She's just making me crack up each and every time. And especially one point in the episode, which I'll get into later, but she just had me cracking up, especially in there. And then Joel, Pedro Pascal, doing another fantastic job as Joel. He is sounding more and more like Joel every episode. Like, in the first one, I was like, okay, I can kind of hear it. But in this one, he sounds gruff, gritty, and just like Joel. I keep hearing Joel from the game mixed with Pedro's performance, and I love it. Love it. And Tess, she's doing good. Even though, she wasn't going to last long in the series anyway, and I think we all know why, especially if you play the game. But yeah, she did a great job. I really liked her performance in this episode, her showing more of a, one to just get shit done side of things, and just like, Joel, we don't have time to worry and complain. We only have time to do stuff, so let's get this stuff done, and then we'll be done with it. And, yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect of, that being shown on TV from the game. And another thing I really liked, in this episode, I might have to rewatch it again, but we got where the virus started, and I really like this. It started in, I forget where, but it started in like a foreign country, and then they called in this doctor to do investigations on it, and she's testing or she's seeing what the cordyceps parasite does and how it reacts and so on and so forth. And they're talking about it. They're like, oh yeah, it all started one day, I think they said in the field or whatever. Sorry, I was trying to watch the TV, and I watched this one in the living room instead of my room, and so I couldn't see all the subtitles. But yeah, it started in like a field, and then just one person just went crazy and started attacking people, and then he had to be locked in a bathroom, and then the police tried to apprehend him, but then they got attacked, and then they got a hold of him, and it was like, holy shit, dude. Like, just thinking about that scenario, just an end of the world scenario where, you're just doing your normal job, la la la, and then for some reason you find this mysterious bug, or this bug that is the only one in the world that infects you. Because my guess is the ant that had cordyceps bit a person and then passed it on. That's what I think happened. I have to rewatch it again to get the full story, but man, just thinking about that scenario goes through my head daily, and like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm gonna get in my car and drive to the desert, just drive to an empty lot of land, and yeah, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed the backstory in this episode, because in the game we didn't really get that. We just were, had day zero, and then the sad thing with Joel and Sarah, and then 20 years later, and then yeah. And I really enjoyed that the show is digging deeper and seeing where this came from, and hopefully we get more of that as we get deeper into the show. I mean, I love this show so much that I'm not even watching any other previews, because I don't want to get spoiled. I know what's gonna happen, but who knows what they'll change in the show, like the whole Robert thing. Like they took that entirely out of the show, which I don't mind, because I've heard people like say it's like, oh well, in the game it's like, oh, something to do, something to get you familiar with the controls, but in the show, if you played the game, you already know what happened, and if you're new, then you'll be explained what happened. It's like, oh, he tried to screw other people, and then he got screwed himself. And I really like that, because it makes sense. And, I'm just, I don't watch the previews for anything, no trailers for any movies coming up, because I want to just see it without seeing anything. And I'm so happy I did it with this episode, because all the stuff, like especially the way they went into where it started and how it started and so on, is just like something, if you would have watched the preview for this episode last week, it would have been spoiled for you, possibly. If it didn't, then yeah, you're safe, but you know what I mean? And yeah, but another thing I really liked about this episode was just the production and the set design. It is just reminding me of the game through and through, and I think I'm going to say that about the show each and every time I review an episode, and I think, I'm going to be enjoying doing this weekly from now on. And yeah, great performances as always from Pedro and Bella and everything, and I'm really surprised with Bella Ramsey. And man, I really enjoyed the encounters. We got our first encounter with a clicker in this episode, and whoo, man, like I really liked how they're slow drip in the reveal, especially when they're in the room and stuff. And then all those close encounters, or a quiet place reveals, or a quiet place scenarios, as I like to call them, where you're like, okay, don't drop anything. And then Joel and Ellie are crouching and trying to get away, and then Ellie drops something, and then the clicker gets on top of them. I was like, holy shit, dude. That's fucking, you just see that face front, and it's just so terrifying. The production quality on the clicker design is holy shit. They look exactly from the game. Or they look right out of the game. And man, I guess spoiler review, but not spoiler review if you played the games. And, just a forewarning, going into the future episodes, I will cover those spoilers. There's no point in jumping around it. I'm reviewing this. I'm not going to split it up into 2 reviews, because why the fuck would I do that? That wouldn't be fun. But yeah, Ellie, the episode starts out with Ellie waking up in a room, and Joel and Tess are just staring at her. And Ellie's just like, what? And what are you looking at? And they're just like, show us your arm. Okay, here you go. It's like, no, pull up the sleeve and show us your arm. And then it's like, I mean, you guys are never gonna believe me, so why do it, you know? And you know, that's where the aspect of Tess, like, okay, we just need to do it. I mean, we could bring her back to the QZ, and you know, have her kill whoever else once she turns. But you know, why don't we just take her off down right now? It's like, no, if we don't do it, then we don't get the battery. And Joel's trying to find another way to get the battery because he don't want to be cast with this annoyance. And man, it's just, I love seeing the game come to media in such a flawless form. And I really enjoyed that, you know. And then they kept the whole Ellie not knowing how to swim. I was real scared about that, especially when she started to walk in the water. I'm like, okay, so I guess she can swim now. But then I was like, oh no, that makes sense because, you know, it's low enough, or it's alright that she's going into water because she's just walking in it. But, you know, I bet a future episode will have Joel and Ellie with the whole classic get a pallet, get on top, and I'll push you sort of thing. And, I mean, I feel Ellie. I don't know how to swim either. But, I mean, I won't be in the ocean, and I won't be on the swim team anytime soon. So, yeah, I'm all good. I'm all set like that. And that's why I will never go on a cruise, because the moment I go on a cruise, I bet the Kraken, the Megalodon, and that fucking big-ass dinosaur from Jurassic World will attack me. And, yeah, attack the ship, and then I'll drown and die, and, yeah, that won't be good. But, you know, the huge reveal in this episode, was, or not reveal, but the huge thing was, you know, getting Ellie to the trade-off point with the smugglers that Marlene was, said to go to, and, you know, like the game, they walk in and everybody's dead, and man, it's just like, oh shit, what now? Well, if you played the game, you know what now. And I think the clicker fight was after that or before that. I'm not sure, but yeah, then Tess goes off on her own, and Joel and Ellie just, you know, try to break the ice. Be like, oh, yeah, okay, I don't want to talk to you. Okay, bye. And then, you know, scuffles happen, and it all leads to Tess becoming really bossy, and you know, she's like, I don't need your help, Joel, go with her, you know, I don't need your help. And Joel's like, okay, something might have happened, and if you play the game, you know what. And you know, they're all working towards it, and Tess is just like, oh well, you know, our luck was gonna run up sometime. And right there, Ellie knew it. Ellie's like, oh shit, she's infected. And she took down her shirt. She's like, yep, I'm infected, Joel. And the whole like, you know, because in the game it kind of just like, okay, yeah, whatever, smugglers are coming, battle them off, Tess. But this one takes a whole swerve, and man, I guess they, no, I think this is what happened. Joel shot the one that was getting up, and that alerted all the others, and man, it was like straight out of World War Z, where all of them are just rushing to the Capitol building, because I think, aren't they in Washington, or are they going to Washington? It looked like something out of Washington, but all of them are just rushing the building, I'll just say that. And Joel and Ellie, you know, they're just staring. Well, Joel is staring at Tess, and Tess is like, You can't save them all. Save who you can, Joel. And Joel just runs out of there with Ellie, and Tess is just dumping gasoline, before they leave all over the floor and trying to light a match. And the entire time, the runners are rushing the building, and Tess is just trying to click it on. But then, one thing I didn't get, it looked like, or actually, I think this is how the disease is passed. Well, no, that wouldn't make any sense. Because the disease is passed if you're bitten, not if they kiss you on the mouth. So I didn't really get the kiss on the mouth thing. I think that was Tess's former boyfriend. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, that's what it looked like to me, because the runner runs in and then sees Tess, walks up to her and kisses her. I'm like, okay. And then the tendrils coming out of the mouth. So I'm like, okay, so that's how she's gonna get fully infected and, grow shit from her head. And then she finally gets it, and then you just hear the screams of Tess and the clickers, and Joel and Ellie look at it, and it's just really horrifying. It's like, holy shit. Just holy shit. I can't believe Tess did something like that. But, I mean, she had to. She had to do that so they could ensure their survival. And, man, I can't wait till next week's episode, because, man, I am locked in for the whole show. However many seasons they want to do. Sorry, hit my microphone. Sign me the fuck up, because this is the greatest video game adaptation of all time, and performed so excellently with each individual role. And I wonder if next episode we're going to see Bill and Frank, but I also wonder if we're going to see Tommy. I don't know, but hopefully we will, because I really want to see how Bill's played and Tommy. I saw Tommy, how he played, and he sounds exactly like the character from the game. But how Frank has played, because that's another thing we didn't get a lot of in the game, and I'm wondering if it'll just be the exact same thing. They fall upon him, hanging around, if you know what I mean. But yeah, another great episode of my all-time favorite video game. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it down below. I know this review wasn't detailed and yada yada and so on, but I went over the basis of the episode, and I think I did a pretty good job, especially last week. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, have you seen the second episode of The Last of Us? Please let me know down below, and if you have, then let me know down below. And if you do enjoy this, please leave a like, subscribe, follow me on the road to 400 subscribers. And with that said, I'll see you on the next one for another review for episode 3 of The Last of Us. But with that said, see you on the next one, and bye-bye.